All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the January 31st meeting of the Mifflin County Board of Commissioners. We'll begin this morning with an invocation offered by Commissioner Postal, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance.
Eternal God, when we wake up in the morning with troubles and worries and wounds to bind, allow us to reach out of the darkness to seek your wisdom. Guide us through those troubled waters into a more peaceful and easy feeling. We ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item of our business is the minutes for the January 17th, 2019 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Approval of the bills, Commissioner Postal.
Okay, let's start with accounts payable. Accounts payable total $632,638.78. Our payroll account is $426,042.41. The 911 account is $1,645.60. We have two checks in the CDBG account for $701.06. We have two checks in the CDBG home account for $32,084.54. And finally, we have one EFT in the Liquid Fuels Act 89 for $112.49. I will make a motion to pay the bills.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Bills are approved. Treasurer's report, Treasurer Stivitz.
Our beginning balance was $240,347.76. We had deposits of $457,080.65. We transferred $750,303.58 from capital reserve. We transferred, we had voided checks of $22,521.10. And we agree with the reading of the bills by Commissioner Postal, leaving us an ending balance of $410,719.10. Our liquid fuels account has $301,294.55. Our Act 89 has $264,331.57. Our 911 has $1,581,765.31. Our LEPC has $25,939.99. Our liquid use fund has $192,749.51. Our capital reserve has $2,108,155.38. Our certificate of deposit has $3,054,389.22. It's all subject to audit.
Thank you. Any questions for the treasurer? Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Treasurer's report's approved. Thank you. Meetings and events, Commissioner Dunkel.
I'm going to pass on this section because I'll be spending some time here with the easel.
Okay. Commissioner Postal.
We've had a salary board meeting, record improvement fund, that's attended by all three commissioners. I attended a CEDACOG natural gas board meeting. We had a meeting with tax services to discuss reassignments in that department. I had a United Way board meeting. We had a conference call with our architect and other selected parties relating to reuse of certain buildings in the county. And yesterday we had a Human Services quarterly meeting with our colleagues in Juniata County.
All right, thank you. In addition to those, he mentioned that Board of Elections, Salary Board, Record Improvement Fund. We had an Enterprise Program Review. CEDACOG Board meeting, Juniata River Valley Tourism Board, the Planning Commission meeting, Regional Services Property Committee, and the Human Services quarterly meeting, as he mentioned. Moving on to public comment, Commissioner Dunkel, you can lead us off.
Okay. At our last meeting, the library indicated that they would have 2 representatives at each and every meeting. Is anybody here from the library today? Because I didn't see anybody that appeared to be on the board. At the last meeting, I had invited Molly Kinney, who is the director of the Mifflin County, to come to this meeting to help address some of the concerns that I have. And obviously, she has chosen not to come as well. When I brought up this issue 2 meetings ago, I talked about the closure of the branch libraries here in Mifflin County. The Mifflin County Library decided to close the branches in Milroy, Allensville, and McVeytown. And while closing the branches was certainly within their prerogative to do so, it was the way that they did it that bothers me, and why I stand here before you today to continue to shed light on the inappropriate means that the Mifflin County Library used in closing the libraries. At the last meeting, I focused on the method that they chose to use. And that method simply was to go tape a notice on the door of the library saying, "This library is closed until further notice." Now, number one, it's not how you treat people in a branch library, patrons in a branch library. That's not how you treat a local community. Number two, it was deceiving because they knew very well that that library would not be opened again under the care of the Mifflin County Library. So today, I'm going to focus on another tactic they used, which I thought was very unfair and uneven-handed, and that is where they chose to close the libraries. They chose to close the McVeytown branch in Belleville. In Belleville. The people in McVeytown, if they wanted to go to the meeting that was affecting the library in their own community, had to drive across the mountain to Belleville. Now, there were plenty of sites in McVeytown where they could have held that meeting. The Borough Building, where the library is located, the Playground Building, the Fire Hall, the Methodist Church, the Presbyterian Church, the Spring Run Church, and the CMA Church, all public buildings within McVeytown. Now, if you're going to close a facility in a community, why would you not go to that community and do it there? That's logical, and that's fair. Particularly when you think about this, that the Mifflin County Library gets almost $250,000 a year from taxpayers like yourself and myself here in Mifflin County. And many of those taxpayers lived in the 3 communities where these libraries were closed. So, in my mind, the Mifflin County Library, if they wanted to close the McVeytown branch, should have done it in McVeytown. So local people, parents, children, if they wanted to go express their opposition to that closure, could have done so easily. They could have walked, many could have walked to these sites, but instead, the Mifflin County Library moved it across the mountain. Now, what makes this even more troubling is the fact that McVeytown partnered with the Mifflin County Library, as a branch from 1963 to 2014. That's 51 years. Think of that. 51 years the people of McVeytown had a library and partnered with the county library system, the Mifflin County Library, to provide library services for their local people. 51 years. And after 51 years, how were they rewarded for the time and the effort and the expenditures they made to serve the library, they got a notice posted on their door saying, "This library is closed until further notice." That is just very inappropriate. Barb, would have you handled it that way? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, I wouldn't.
No. Deb, would have you handled it that way? No, of course not. Because common courtesy dictates that after being a partner for so many years, that the library should have reached out. They should have reached out to the borough council and to the mayor in McVeigh-Town. Now, what did McVeigh-Town provide all those many years? It provided free housing. They didn't charge the library rent. They gave free space. They paid all the utilities. McVeigh-Town paid for the water, the electric, the heat, cleaning services, snow removal. They did it all. And after doing all this for 51 years, they get a notice on the door. This library is closed until further notice. And they didn't even have the decency to reach out to the local elected officials who underwrote the cost of all this for those 51 years. As I said, they didn't reach out to the mayor of the council. They didn't reach out to the local community. They could have very easily held a meeting in McVeigh-Town and the other communities where the branch libraries were closed, but they chose not to do so. And if they had done so, perhaps those library services could have continued. Now, hypothetically, let's say the shoe is on the other foot. Let's just pretend for a second that the shoe is on the other foot. If you take a look at the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we have 67 counties. And Mifflin County represents about 0.4% of the population in this state. 0.4%. As you well know, just by doing the math, that's not a very significant amount of the population. So let's say, hypothetically, that the state says, "Oh, Mifflin County, you're really small. And, we have some budget issues here. And so, you know what? We're not going to continue to give you the appropriation that you've been getting from the state all these many years." And if you take a look at what the state gives the Mifflin County Library, it's approximately $200,000 a year. $200,000 a year. What if the state did the same thing to the Mifflin County Library that Mifflin County did to McVeigh-Town, Allensville, and Milroy? What if they did the very same thing? What if they said, "You're small, you're relatively insignificant statewide," just as they said that McVeigh-Town and Allensville and Milroy were relatively insignificant countywide because we had a small population? So, let's assume that in the middle of the night, somebody comes from Harrisburg and posts a notice on the door of the Mifflin County Library right up the street that says, "You will not receive any further state funds. This library is closed." What would your reaction be, Kevin?
Well, I think Harrisburg's gonna be in trouble because Steve Dunkel's gonna come down there and tell them.
Steve Dunkel will tell them, because I believe in principle. I believe in doing what is right. And if I have to stand alone to conduct that fight, I will do so, because right is right and wrong is wrong. So, what would Molly Kinney do? Molly Kinney is the director of the library. What would she do if this would happen? My guess is that she would protest. She would gather the troops together to galvanize support against the decision. She would go to the Mifflin County Commissioners, and she would go to the state officials for help. If the library was closed, Molly and Teddy Snyder and Tom McNabb, who were the top two board member officers, would basically do exactly what Steve Dunkel is doing today. Now, some people think that I maybe am standing up here because I'm against libraries. Trust me, I am not against libraries. I fully support libraries. I have a degree in library science. My objection comes to the way in which they conducted the process. The only idea that I can come up with as to why they took these shortcuts and weren't fair is because they didn't want the library to get a black eye at the time. They didn't want the library to get negative publicity. And I'm here to tell you that I will continue this crusade because it was an injustice. Our library, the Mifflin County Library, gets $250,000 from the county, over $200,000 from the state, and we're partners. They're a quasi-governmental organization, and they have the right, they have the obligation to lead in a fair, even-handed way. And what they did in acting the way they chose to act was create an unlevel playing field. And that's just not fair. That's not how you treat a partner of 51 years. So I will continue my crusade against this injustice at every meeting that we have. And just as an FYI, make sure you stay tuned to the radio stations this coming week. You're probably going to hear something a little interesting. Thank you.
All right, is there any other public comment this morning? All right, seeing none, move to new business. We have a proclamation commending Tina Goss, 4-H volunteer. Whereas volunteers are the heart of Mifflin County 4-H, and whereas Mifflin County 4-H volunteer Tina Goss has been a 4-H volunteer for nearly 5 years now, and a 4-H parent and integral part of the 4-H family in Mifflin County for much longer, and whereas the 4-H mission is to assist youth in acquiring knowledge, developing life skills, and forming attitudes that will enable them to become self-directing, productive, and contributing members of society. And Tina Goss has went above and beyond in providing her 4-H members with this experience and more. And whereas the Pennsylvania 4-H volunteerism team has named Tina Goss the 2018 Pennsylvania 4-H Volunteer of the Year, based on her merits as a leader, a contributing member to the Mifflin County 4-H, and a caring adult volunteer who leads her 4-H members by a positive example. And whereas the Mifflin County 4-H and Mifflin County Board of Commissioners would like to recognize Mrs. Tina Goss for her tremendous work as a 4-H volunteer and her continued efforts in supporting the program and providing the 4-H members with an experience that will last a lifetime. And whereas the Mifflin County 4-H program is eternally grateful for Tina Goss and her passion for the 4-H program and educational experience that she provides with the county. Now therefore, we, the Mifflin County Commissioners, do hereby commend Tina Goss for her commitment to the 4-H program, proclaimed this 31st day of January, 2019. Kevin P. Kodesh, Stephen T. Dunkel, Robert Postal Jr. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. All right, Tina, would you like to come up? Receive your proclamation. Would you like to say a few words to the people about your 4-H experience?
I need to say that I'm very humbled by receiving this award. I'm very passionate about 4-H. I've had a son go through the 4-H program. I think it's very rewarding. I think it's very educational and life lessons learned there. And I'm so happy that I'm able to give back to 4-H for what they have provided my family. So I love the kids, I love the program, and I think it's definitely a plus for our county. We have a lot of kids in 4-H now, and it's definitely growing. And that's a positive sign for the youth of Pennsylvania and of Mifflin County.
Excellent. Walk over here and between Kevin and myself.
Get the butt back.
Do you have family here living in
They're on the farm, right?
Transfer New Orleans.
It's like cold weather, I guess. All right, here we go. And one more.
Good.
Thank you.
I've known Tina for a long time.
Oh, we go way back.
I'm not gonna say how long because it's a little depressing. Thank you again, Tina, for your service.
And Tina, I just want to thank you and commend you for being such a role model for so many people. In your remarks, you mentioned the word passionate. And truly, if we have a passion for something, we live it. It drives us. It's who we are. And so your passion for 4-H means a great deal to me. I was in 4-H as a young child, and I know how much I enjoyed it and how important it was to me as I was growing up. So thank you for what you have done.
All right, item B, a proclamation recognizing Naomi Deal, 4-H Teen Council President. Commissioner Costa, why don't you read that one for us?
All right, we have a proclamation recognizing Naomi Deal. Whereas 4-H program in Pennsylvania offers youth with opportunities for experiences that enhance leadership and communication skills and bolster self-confidence. And whereas with the help from the Mifflin County 4-H Teen Council and Teen Council Advisors fundraising efforts, one 4-H Teen Council member was able to take advantage of one of those experiences that offered her a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to gain new skills and network with new 4-H'ers. And whereas Mifflin County 4-H Teen Council President Naomi Deal dedicated her holiday break to traveling with fellow PA 4-H delegates to Atlanta, Georgia to attend the National 4-H Congress. And whereas National 4-H Congress is a 5-day event that engages high school-aged 4-H members in leadership, citizenship, global awareness, and inclusion, where participants not only can participate in the state-of-the-art educational workshops and hear from world-renowned speakers, they also have the opportunity to network with other 4-H members from across the United States. Now therefore, we, the Mifflin County Commissioners, do hereby recognize Naomi Deal for her dedication to the 4-H program and taking advantage of the opportunities for personal and professional growth that the program offers her, and represented 4-H in Mifflin County and Pennsylvania proudly at the National 4-H Congress. This is proclaimed this 31st day of January 2019. Mifflin County Commissioners Kevin Kodish, Stephen Dunkel, and Robert Postal.
Okay, motion to approve the proclamation.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll be happy to second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. What up, Naomi?
Would you like to say anything?
She has a question.
Yeah, she's got a presentation.
She's got lots to say.
There you go, Naomi.
All that with Kevin. Okay, here we go.
Good job.
Naomi, can I take that back? When I was reading it, there's a typo in here. And I know you're going to save this forever. It's going to be in the dresser and all of the big things. So you're going to save it forever. I want to correct it. We'll get back to it.
All right, our next item, we're going to step away from the front here. Naomi, you have a presentation?
Yeah, let me show you that.
I saw it.
Hi, I'm Naomi Deal. I'm 17 years old and I'm in the Dairy Club, Steer Club, Mifflin County 4-H Teen Council, and Sheep and Lamb 4-H Club. And this year I had the honor to attend National 4-H Congress in Atlanta, Georgia. So what it is, National 4-H Congress is a 5-day event in Atlanta, Georgia that engages 4-H members in leadership, citizenship, global awareness, and inclusion. What I did, I attended workshops, listened to speakers, visited attractions in Atlanta, gained friendships, and attended the dances. Workshops. The workshops I attended were on career planning, blanketing with Joanne Fabrics, speed meeting, expanding horizons through group involvement, and drones and robots for precision agriculture. Career planning. At the career planning workshop, we learned how to figure out what we were passionate about by what we liked to do and what we enjoyed. We then chose careers that were based around that. Drones and robots in precision agriculture. We learned how important drones could be in the future for agriculture, such as how farmers could fertilize their fields using drones and could see how each part of their field is doing with a simple picture from a drone. Blanketing with Joanne Fabrics. We learned how to make blankets and then made blankets for children in hospitals. Speed meeting. At speed meeting, we talked to kids from different states and learned what it is like living in those states. I gained many friendships from this workshop and enjoyed talking to people from places like Hawaii and Montana. Expanding horizons through group involvement. At this workshop, we worked together to complete tasks and met new people while doing so. Some of the tasks were putting 10 cards in order in 5 seconds and having rock, paper, scissors tournaments. Speakers. Some of the speakers were Miss America 2019, Nia Franklin, and John B. Miss America. Nia Franklin gave a speech on using time wisely and how we can make a difference in our communities. She also told us that no matter what our goals were, we could accomplish them. John B. climbed Mount Everest, climbed the tallest peak on every continent, including Mount Everest. He created this goal for himself in college when a professor asked him to list 100 goals that he wanted to accomplish. He listed them and then accomplished them all before he was 30. Attractions. We visited the Hall of College Football Fame and Atlanta History Center. Hall of College Football Fame. The Hall of College Football Fame was a nice break after a couple days of intense workshops, and we also got to learn a little bit more about college football. Atlanta History Center. At the Atlanta History Center, we learned more about Atlanta's history, and they even performed traditional dances. And then takeaways. I learned to not be afraid, to be outgoing, and how that can help to become a better leader. I made lots of new friends from around the country who taught me about the area that they were from. I also learned that it is okay to be different, and sometimes that is better. And I also realized that sometimes I need to set goals so that I can feel accomplished, but not to make them too hard.
Wait, go ahead, we're gonna sign that, I'm gonna give it back. Okay. We correct. How many people were there? There you are. I won't tell you what to say.
I'm a little envious, I always wanted to go to the college football.
Join 4-H.
Thank you, Naomi. All right, item D, Zane Swan, our election office is here. Talk about an upcoming event.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and fellow Board of Commissioner members. Bear with me here, I'm getting over a slight sickness, so I'll try and roll through this without coughing too much. Just an announcement we had today following the announcement that Penn State Extension's Toss Your Hat in the Ring seminar was canceled due to lack of registration. And with the time that was already put in with making a PowerPoint and some other materials, I went ahead and decided to schedule our own in-house training seminar for those interested in running for public office in this year's municipal election. The date's going to be February 13th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. It's going to be housed at the Annex Building across the street from the courthouse on 3rd Street. Again, beginning at 5:30, expecting the presentation to maybe last about an hour. Then we'll open it up to any question and answer session. It'll be myself, along with Emily Price, our office clerk, that'll be there. So happy to answer any questions that individuals may have that are seeking office. Some of the core topics of discussion are going to be the election cycle calendar, important dates for campaign finance and whatnot. Petition filing, petition fees, and the process for cross-filing for certain positions. Statements of financial interest, campaign finance reports, when do you need to do it, which form do you need to use. Information about poll watchers, what they are, what they can do, who can appoint them. And also talking about public voter information available to candidates used for campaigning or going door to door to collect signatures, and also touching on political sign advertising policies and rights. There is no fee to attend this session. As I call it, it is pre-taxpayer funded. However, we do ask that you register in advance with our office, so you can call the election office or stop by. We're on the first floor of the courthouse to register. And that's just so that we have enough materials prepared ahead of time for everyone that plans to attend. And if there are any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Again, I'm the Director of Elections, Zane Swanner with the election office. Other than that, if there's any questions, go ahead and give this to the press.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Zane, even if you're not running for office, anybody can attend?
Yes, this is public seminar, so if you're just interested in the process itself, how it works, regardless if you're running this year or interested in running down the road, it's great. This is tailored to local municipal offices, so this is going to be your local township offices or county row offices. So, yeah, anyone's available to attend.
Zane, I just want to commend you for taking the lead in doing this. Zane has been with us a relatively short period of time as the director of this office, and in that very short period of time, he's done an outstanding job. I was recently speaking with an individual in the Department of State in Harrisburg, and they commended Zane for the work that he does here for us in Mifflin County. So I just thought I would pass that along publicly because, you know, if someone wants to be critical, they never hesitate to mention it, and compliments seem to be not as frequent. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. It's a true honor, it really is. It's a true privilege to come to work every day and enjoy the line of work that you do. So thank you all very much.
Chairman, may I make a comment?
Yes.
Thank you.
Please state your name and municipality.
Sure. I'm Teresa Hobbs, and today I'm wearing my Democratic Chairman Party hat. And I was preempted by Mr. Dunkel. I too wanted to tell you my appreciation for Zane. He is just great to work with. I really appreciate that when I come to his office, he comes and opens and listens to any suggestions, any issues that I have. If I ask him to send me something, some information, he does it immediately. And as for this training, I actually approached him prior to finding out that Penn State Extension was going to do that, because our party actually wanted to have a seminar or training or something. We wanted to do it, but we thought it would be more appropriate if Zane did it. And so when I approached him, he said, well, in fact, we already have somebody that's going to do it. So when they decided they were not going to do it, and Zane stepped in and said, well, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, I was much appreciative of that. So I want to thank you and appreciate your hard work, and I want to thank you guys, because I don't usually agree with everything you do or say, but I agree with you hiring Zane. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on, item E, amending the action taken on December 6, 2018 to exonerate Granville Township Tax Collector Billy Weaver from collecting 2018 per capita tax bills as presented. At the time, it was 28, the corrected total is 17. So motion to amend that action.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. We have a similar action here, amending an action taken on August 30th to exonerate McVeigh Borough Tax Collector Brooke Knable from collecting 2018 per capita tax bills as presented. At the time, the total was 6, the corrected total is 3. So motion to amend that action.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Item G, agreement with Infocon Evansburg, PA, to create a standardized file transfer program to send the open guardianships to AOPC, to the state's guardianship tracking system, GTS, for a one-time setup fee of $250 and $50 per month ongoing. Motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Would you like to say anything regarding that, Barb?
The Guardian Tracking System is a new system from the state, and by agreeing to that agreement and paying this, it'll help the county speak to the state with all the guardians, and there's much updating to be done from the past, and it'll continue. So thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, any questions? All right, properly moved and seconded already, so all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Item H, contract with Federal Bureau of Corrections, Warden Garver.
Yes, and entering into the contract for the Federal Bureau of Prisons, this would be awaiting sentencing, already sentenced, awaiting a home prison. They would not be here any more than 6 months, and they typically is a 90-day hold, just until they get the appropriate staffing to move them where they need to go throughout the country.
So in essence, we would be a holding cell, if you will.
Yes.
Until such time as they can permanently be placed wherever they're assigned.
That's correct, yes.
Nobody has yet been signed.
Nobody has been assigned, and it could be as maybe one a year. It was just we're centrally located, and they approached us.
Okay, I believe Perry County and Clinton County already do this.
Perry County, Clinton County, Dauphin County, Adams County. There's an abundance, maybe half a dozen throughout the state that do it, and it's a minor holding. They just need them. We're closer to Harrisburg.
We would have the right to refuse anyone.
We have the right to refuse anyone, or get rid of anybody at any time.
I think it's similar to the other contracts we have. We need a contract just like we have with other counties.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions for Josh? Motion to approve the agreement?
So moved.
Well, second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Item I, conditional approval for a limited topographic survey for the Juniata River Trail Phase 2 from the Eads Group, Lewistown, PA. $7,000. Mr. William Gomes.
Well, as always, I have plenty of paper to share. So I'm glad you have me. I'm glad I have the biggest copier in the county so that we can do these things with. So. I brought just a little bit of information. Some of this you've seen before. Anyway, I thought I'd bring it to
Do you have a copy for Joe? You have one for Joe? Yes.
Yeah. And then I have the, what I'm doing here. Did I leave that big sheet over there for you? I think I did, and I meant to. This is a copy, I think, of the overall. This shows a bigger picture of not only the overall schematic of what we started out with 3 years ago, and then what we're looking at now. 2015, the commissioners authorized us to do a study which showed that we had a potential of developing a trail along the Juniata River going from Victory Park all the way to Blue Juniata Drive in Granville Township. We had, as laid out, was done in phases. The first phase was completed in November of last year, and there's photographs there to show you what was, and all of you there. It is very well used that I know of, and well, people who like walking down it. But we want to continue that effort. So we have been in negotiations for some time with not only the concrete plant, which is the next parcel over, but also the fire academy. Both parties are receptive to us moving forward. The fire academy does have one obstacle, which I've shared with you, that I have to get the state legislature to approve any kind of easement agreement across there. I've also met with the borough, and we have to do some more follow-up with the borough also on this too. But the way this would work is I'm looking at putting together an application. It would be 2 applications, and one will go in April and one will go in May, and I'll be back to the board to ask for authorization on that. But in the meantime, in preparation for this application, for this proposal, which is so it's about $514,000 for construction, and when you add the other costs involved with it, it comes to about $597,000. And as the breakdown shows you, we need about between $45,000 and $50,000 for a local match. One of the provisions in this is to do a survey of the properties to make sure where everything is, and to make sure we define the trail appropriately. And we are asking for $7,000, which will come partially from the Act 13 fund and partly from my budget, as I've outlined to you before. I know that there's a question about making sure there's a question about maintenance, and we've been in discussion with Solicitor Snook about this, who I believe you've been talking to Mr. Remy about this too, as developing a memorandum of understanding to make sure there's no clear misunderstandings about who's responsible for this whole proposal. I believe the borough will agree to this, but I have to go back on February 11th to finalize it. So I'm asking for authorization to do this so that as soon as the weather breaks, that we could move this forward, at least the survey portion, and then we'll go to the next phase, assuming we can get all the other parts together.
Okay, questions for Bill?
All we're approving today is the survey.
Correct.
Right, this is a conditional approval contingent obviously on the memorandum of understanding being executed.
Right, and then from that, we would then develop an easement agreement between all the parties to make sure but that's the more legal portion, because it not just involves us, it also involves the property owners too. So.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the survey for the Juniata River Trail Phase 2 with the condition that the Borough of Lewistown approve at their next meeting.
Approve the what the memorandum of understanding.
The memorandum of understanding.
And that memorandum of understanding makes the borough responsible for maintenance and upkeep and any liability that may occur, is that correct?
Well, accepting also the easement, the way I understand it, if we go through an application, we will be getting an easement from the property owners. That easement then will be transferred to the borough once the project is completed.
Right. And as I described to you, the reason for doing this is a lot easier to have one entity in charge as opposed to multiple entities in charge of the project, and that's why it makes sense, so.
Do you have any idea where the other 45's coming from?
I guess I should mention it. The 25,000 has been donated by the Visitors Bureau already. So that puts the balance of the rest about $25,000. So, and we had some discussions about where that could come from, but that hasn't been finalized yet right now.
Okay, motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Finally, item J, personnel items. Promotion of Rebecca Gano from Assistant Tax Claim Director to Tax Claim Director, effective January 21st, 2019. Promotion of Mary Bratton from Chief Assessor to Chief Assessor and Tax Services Director, effective January 21st, 2019. Promotion of Kyle Knepp and Karen Lobb from part-time to full-time corrections officers, effective January 27th, 2019. Retirement of Brenda Stayruck from Children and Youth Case 8, effective February 1st, 2019. Hiring of Tracy Barger for Second Deputy Register and Recorder, effective February 1st, 2019. Hiring of part-time corrections officer Angela Snook, effective February 4th, 2019. And the hiring of law clerk James Johnson, effective March 11th, 2019. Motion to approve these personnel items.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of the items, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. That concludes our agenda today. I'd like to thank everyone for attending. Thank Mr. Roger Herto, the Director of MCTV, for being here. No school today, and he came in on his school day to film so we could get it on television and on the internet for everyone to see. So thanks again for attending. We stand adjourned.